We have 3 pages of Rams versus 49ers.
Yeah, it was. There's just a lot of interesting things. I probably write stuff that I don't really need to write all the time, but this is an interesting matchup.
So let's start with the Rams offense here.
Right.
And there are questions once again with Jared Goff. 78 yards, career low.
Yes.
Obviously, that's some him.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably some offensive line.
Yeah, a lot of.
No Todd Gurley. That didn't help either.
Right.
So what did you see? What are the main things afflicting the Rams offense right now when you go to the deep dive?
Yeah, okay. All right. So if I really had to simplify it, first off is it's not Jared Goff's fault. Let me just say that. Let's get that right out of the way. I mean,
none of it?
No, really, I'm not going to sit here and go, there was one flaw in Jared Goff's game yesterday that I would say, okay? There was some opportunities to throw some 10-yard out routes, things toward the sideline where he played the concept, and I want to go, ooh, just throw the 10-yard out, throw the 15-yard comeback. Don't mess around with the concept and all this nonsense over here of 49ers guys flying all over the place and, let me see if I can squeeze it in there, or let me pat the ball to wait for that guy to get open, and then I get killed behind, the tree trunks of the San Francisco 49ers. But ultimately, this is the issue. The 49ers defensive line is special. It's special. And I've been saying this, and it's just continuing to show itself on a week-to-week basis. They got great talent. They got great versatility. They got great depth. And they can just send people at you in waves. And they absolutely kick the shit out of the Rams offensive line. There's no other way to say it. I don't care. Listen, it would have been tough sledding if it was Rodgers, Watson, Mahomes, Russell Wilson. It would have been tough sledding. The pocket was collapsing. They lose their guard, no boom. At some point, maybe it was a late second quarter, whatever. And not to say he's a world beater as it is anyways. And then they have to go to, I can't remember who it was. I'm going to say Denby, 64 Denby. But they were truly compromised with that. And that was the first thing. So
how they do it? The first drive, they just ran it right down their throats.
Every play. They ran zone, cutbacks. Sean McVay called a fake toss, and then he handed it off like on a quick almost reverse to Robert Woods, and then he actually ran a reverse to Robert Woods for the touchdown. Hey, it's the first drive of the game. You can never put too much stock into the first drive of the game.
Why do you say that?
Well, the offense has got it scripted. The defense is kind of trying to get in the flow of the game. They're being hit from a bunch of different angles because of the script, so they don't have no feel at that point for what's being trying to be done to them at that point. And that does happen, but obviously they settled in very nicely after that. And this 49ers defense, team speed, size, physicality.
You said could be the best in the NFL. Team speed.
Yes, team speed is definitely up there. Physicality is up there. I mean, it's them and the Patriots for the best defense in the sport right now.
Wow.
And I would say they have an advantage as far as the front seven goes. The Patriots have a better secondary, but the 49ers secondary, not bad either.
Well, here's the thing, too, with D. Ford.
Yeah.
He had a sack and a half, forced a fumble.
Right.
Played 42% of the snaps. He's been hurt a little bit. He's had some injuries that he said he dealt with last year.
Right.
But the thing is, last year in 12 of the 16 games, he played 89% of the snaps in 12 of the 16 games.
Right.
This year, he's played over 50% of snaps just one time. He has not been on the field a whole lot. I haven't needed him, but he really, he was a big free agent sign.
Yep.
He hasn't been 100%, and the defense still dominates.
They still dominate. I mean, he doesn't start. I mean, that just tells you how good they are. I mean, hey, we're paying you, $15 million a year or whatever they're paying them, and we don't even need you to start.
Yeah.
Just stay fresh for when they have to pass, and we know it. You're going to come off the edge like you're on fire, and you're going to get after the quarterback. But, they have Armstead, Buckner, the DJ Jones kid. They start him at D tackle next to Buckner, and they put Armstead outside, and then Nick Bosa on the other edge, who's phenomenal already. I mean, Nick Bosa's phenomenal. And he really is.
Yeah, you have Bosa here and you have Ford, and you say that the O-line for the Rams was worried about the speed rush, susceptible to the power rush.
Yeah, well, that's what happens with those guys a lot of the time. Nick Bosa and D. Ford have tremendous power for guys that are, what do I want to say, boxed up into a smaller package maybe compared to some other defensive ends. Yeah. But what happens with speed rushers, and just imagine you're an offensive tackle. You're going, oh, my gosh, I got to get back. He's going to beat me around the edge. And then all of a sudden, when that guy just sees you like working so hard to get back there and get fast, he puts his foot in the ground. He goes, I'm going to drive my head right into this guy's chest. And all of a sudden, the offensive lineman's like, oh, and he gets driven back into the quarterback. And there was a lot of that in the game by all the positions in the Rams offensive line.
And so you think the defensive line, the defensive pass rush for the 49ers, very good.
Yes.
Secondary, you said very good, complimentary. You said if there's one guy you would attack for the 49ers in their secondary, it is
Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman.
It is, yes. I mean, and again, I have great respect for Richard Sherman. I mean, this is an all-time great. I mean, he might be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done as far as Richard Sherman. You know, the other kid, Mosley, 41, the kid out of Tennessee they have, he's pretty damn good in man-to-man coverage. Richard Sherman's not the type of corner that's going to get in your face and play man-to-man. He likes to play off, and those are some of the out routes and things I was saying. If I was going to attack anybody, or the weakness of the 49ers defense is you can throw some balls outside the numbers. I was going to say phone numbers.
Yeah.
Outside the numbers. And yes, if you gave me my choice of which guy to attack, it would be Richard Sherman. You know, even you saw it at the end of the game. Jared Goff missed like a kind of a double move down the sideline. He's got him. You know, Richard Sherman's kind of trying to read the play, and he sees a guy in the slot, and the guy just runs right by him. But, yeah, I do think that's one area where you can attack the 49ers a little bit.
You were complimentary of Jimmy Ward, who had a broken collarbone in the offseason, then broke a finger. So he hasn't played a whole lot. He's just coming back.
Baller.
You really liked it.
I mean, he's a baller. He's one of those safety corner hybrids. Like he's a phenomenal tackler. He's phenomenal in like short, coverage situations. He had the big fourth down stop where he broke up a pass. But really, even to all those, the credit goes, the D-line, we talked about how special that is. But in some of those, drop-back pass scenarios, too, Robert Saleh and the 49ers, what they did on the defensive side, they were all over some of McVay's concepts. I mean, all over. And even on that fourth down, they're playing man-to-man. But Jimmy Ward's all over it, too, because he's been taught what to look for. Ooh, when they get in this formation and they're in this short yard situation, they like to do this, which gives them a great advantage to be able to jump routes and make it contested. That's how, New England and the Detroit Lions play man-to-man, because they're taught so well about the route concepts of what the other team's doing. They feel like they have a good feel, and that, of course, is a great advantage when it comes down to man-to-man.
Said play action had no effect on the 49ers. They didn't respect the run game.
No, because the front four could just steamroll people.
They could handle it.
So the linebackers kind of just said, they weren't up there like at the line of scrimmage. Oh, he looks like he's going to run it. We're just going to kind of sit here. Oh, he did run it. We'll get in there. But yeah, some of the play action, none of it was good. One of the things that is, they need more concepts. They need more. McVay needs to do more on the offensive side of the ball. There's just no other way I can say it. Because when their run game doesn't work, and Sean McVay is amazing to me. He's a phenomenal head coach. But when their run game doesn't work, they are limited. They don't, their plays, I don't look at it and go, oh my gosh, these are some of the greatest things I've ever seen. Yeah. Really what they do is they want to run the ball, and then how he packages it off of it is what makes him special. You've probably heard me say this before, but hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the outside zone. Oh, here comes a speed sweep. So the outside zone, the teams can't be too aggressive on the outside zone. And then that gives us the cutback lane. Okay, now we're going to run the outside, we're going to fake the speed sweep. And then run the outside zone. Okay, then we got that. Then they, fake the speed sweep, fake the outside zone, play action pass. And then it's fake the speed sweep, fake the outside zone, screen pass. And they just have all these things they can do off of it. But when one of those phases doesn't work, they are a little handicapped. And I do think McVay has to kind of expand his tree. If you look at the 49ers offense compared to the Rams offense, there's a lot more versatility in Shanahan's offense as compared to McVay.
So let's do that. If Sean McVay struggles here, all his friends who got jobs, they go down too. That affects them. In Cincinnati and Green Bay, it's just like all of a sudden they're on notice.
Well, I mean, if you look at those offenses right now, I don't think any of them, I look at them and go, oh, they're reinventing the wheel in the passing world.
A good point.
They're not. They have a lot of great core principles, and, their offenses are sound, but I don't look at it and go like, oh, this is Josh McDaniels or Sean Payton or Kyle Shanahan, and they're doing shit like I don't even know what the hell this is, but it's cool and people are open. Those three I just mentioned there, I think, are even in their own little class by themselves.
The new thing will be all of Robert Saleh's friends will get jobs in the NFL.
Well, including him, exactly right.
Okay, so let's go over to are we good there with
I think we hit it all. Yep, right.
So let's go over to the 49ers O. Rams D. 49ers did enough. George Kittle was a star again, 8 catches, 103 yards. That running game didn't go off like it did against the Browns, but still was able to kind of control some things. Offensively, they weren't great. There's no numbers that jump out at you. They do have injuries there on the offensive line.
Yes, that's an issue.
Kyle Juszczyk was out.
Yeah,
so
those are big.
That's going to hurt them.
Yeah. The Rams D is good. I mean, their front can ruin games too, and they did. I mean, they played phenomenal. And again, even with the 20-7 victory, let's take this into this game is 7-7, and the Rams are 3rd and goal on the 1-yard line, and you're going, damn, they're gonna go up 14-7, even though it hasn't been pretty. Here we are, they're gonna slug it out and get it in there, and of course that D line of the 49ers said, no, you're not. So I'm not giving up on the Rams. There's a lot of things to still like about this football team. I think the big thing I would take away from that side of the ball is, it was hard work for the 49ers all day long. It wasn't like people were wide open or this or that. But I just think between, the defense and then they sustained some drives where it kept the Rams offense on. It might have been ugly, but the 49ers, they chewed up some clock. And Kyle had a lot of different little creative ways to move the ball and do things. And really, ultimately, I thought it was Kyle's just ability to game plan a few more plays on the offensive side of the ball as compared to Sean that then wins the football game for the 49ers.
So here's the $1 million question,
or
the $120 million question, whatever they paid Jimmy Garoppolo. And this was during the game, and I've got a lot of people that follow me in the Bay Area because I was out there for 6 years, and so I sent a tweet during the game. And normally I'm not controversial, and normally people agree with me because
you don't even swear.
Lukewarm takes that you really can't disagree with. But there was one point in the game.
Yeah.
It was when Jimmy threw the
interception in the end zone.
It was not the interception. No, it was not the interception.
That was horrible.
That was bad.
Yes.
It was when he had Tevin Coleman wide open coming out of the backfield.
Right.
And just threw it upfield. I don't know if Tevin turned the wrong way or if Jimmy.
Oh, the one where they should have scored a touchdown.
Should have scored a touchdown. He was wide open.
Right.
I tweeted out Jimmy G. Period. There are concerns, and I got a lot of responses from people saying, no, he's not the problem. That was a bad. Tevin Coleman should have caught that ball. He turned the wrong way. He's been great. He's been carrying him on this drive, which some of that might be true. But there do seem, but when I'm watching Jimmy Garoppolo, there are concerns for me. But what do you think?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, listen, if you had to give me the 2 biggest concerns for the San Francisco 49ers, okay, and there's not a lot because the 49ers are arguably the best team in football. I mean, so let's just get that straight. And Jimmy Garoppolo has done a real good job. I know what you mean. You're not like trying to say he's horrible or he sucks.
Right.
You're just saying to this point, he hasn't had to have a game where he's got to carry the squad or be that guy where you just go, man.
And I don't know that he.
I don't know if he is either. I think that's a big question. The throw you're talking about to Tevin Coleman. That was. Could Tevin Coleman catch it? Yes. But any coach, including Kyle Shanahan, I promise you what he's going to say because this is a running back. You got to put the ball on him. You can't throw the ball like this in front of a running back. He is a running back, not a receiver who receives the ball as in catching it.
And he was wide open.
He was wide open. And Jimmy Garoppolo's mechanics go into that. He kind of just keeps his feet still, and he just throws it all arm, and he doesn't put the ball on the money there. The interception on the 1-yard line, just stupid. I don't know what else to say. He is he did good things, so I don't want to take this away.
Yeah.
He moved in the pocket a few times and made some really good throws. But, hey, he got Marquise Goodwin down the left sideline on that trick play they ran, the little flea flicker. I mean, that should have been a walk-in touchdown. He underthrew it by 15 yards. So Marquise Goodwin had to stop, and as he's catching the ball, he's about to get hit. He drops it. Should he have caught that? Definitely. But, I'm holding them to a standard. Right now the 49ers are in a very elite class in the NFL, and I'm just going okay, hey, the 49ers, and I know it's still all a work in progress, but I'm trying to say, hey, if they want to be the number 1 seed, if they want to beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, right? These are the kind of things we need to see kind of just clean up. They're not gigantic right now. The 49ers have a great defense. They have a great run game. They have a creative offensive play caller. And yes, there hasn't been that game yet where all that stuff hasn't worked. And then Jimmy Garoppolo's got to carry the squad. And maybe it doesn't happen this year. Maybe they're that good that they don't have to worry about it. But my money would say at some point it is going to happen. And he's going to have to deliver. And it is kind of unproven to this point. So you're not that far off, Slugger.
So thank you. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
I was feeling self-conscious. Because whenever you send the tweet and you get 20 responses within a minute that are all disagreeing with you.
The Twitterverse disagreed with you.
It made me feel
the guy who's probably not even watching the game and sipping on pina coladas by the ocean is telling you you're wrong while you're watching it.
Okay, and you're big. You had 3 stars by it, and you said it already. You think Kyle Shanahan's just more creative than Sean McVay. So in the coaching rankings right now, you would put Kyle Shanahan above Sean McVay.
As an offensive play caller, certainly. Am I ready to say that as a head coach? No. I mean, Sean McVay is special. But as an offensive play caller, I've always said that. Yes. You know, again, Kyle's the teacher. McVay is the student. You know, McVay worked for Shanahan in Washington.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you got to go back, anybody out there. You got to look at Kyle Shanahan's resume. It's a little more impressive than I think people give it credit for. It really is. When you go back to his days in Houston, he had top 5 offenses there. Okay. Then he went to Washington, and they did some special things. And you've heard me say they invented an offense around RG3 that we had never really seen before. You know, he went to the Browns for a year, and there was nobody on that offense, and they were kind of like middle of the NFL. Okay. Then he goes to Atlanta and sets records.
It's funny, you know, he went to the Browns and they were average.
Right.
Whoa.
And the 49ers haven't won games his first 2 years until this year. But no one's panicked because everyone watches the 49ers and go, man, they're kind of fun to watch.
Totally.
Yeah, they lost, but, I mean, we're putting up points and making up big plays. And
they won with Nick Mullins. They won with Nick Mullins.
Right, and C.J. Beathard.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to do.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.